Good evening, chums. Now, as regular viewers of this channel will know, one of my weird obsessions is rust effects. I really love a good rust effect. And something people have been recommending to me for a while is this. Now, that's Citadel's Ryza Rust, which is one of their technical paints. It's intended for use in dry brushing, and lots of people I know say that it's really good. Apparently you're supposed to use it with a paint called Typhus Corrosion, but at the time of making this video, all hobby shops are in lockdown, so I can't really get hold of that. But my understanding is that Typhus Corrosion is kind of a thing for adding texture, and I sort of already have ways of adding texture. So what I would like to do is I have yet another Triang Mineral Wagon. This is actually the last of my Triang Mineral Wagons, so I'll have to hope this works, really. So yeah, I will paint it up and we'll see what we end up with. So I've just done a basic coat of primer. I'm going to do my usual thing of stippling on thick artist's acrylics to get the heavy corrosion effect. Right, that's stippled on. I've gone really thick, like I'm going for super heavy rust, like just absolutely over the top, as rusty as you can get. Like just so much rust, you guys. That does mean it's going to take a while to dry, of course, but when it does, I'll be ready. Right, so I'm ready to play with this. Now it's a very dry paint. Let's see how it goes on. Interesting. I mean, like, it's a very dry paint, and I've dried it out even further. Okay, so there's some heavy corrosion there. That's I mean, it certainly seems to be highlighting the rough areas there, you see. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. I mean, what I've got is the brush is almost dry. As I say, this paint is pretty dry to begin with. Well, here it is finished. So that's the general effect there, and I have to say, it looks pretty good actually, and it was really easy to use. It was just like you have to get your brush almost completely dry, but it works really well. Like, it only really sticks to the rough areas, which, if you're doing heavy corrosion, is exactly what you want. I was kind of skeptical because, you know, it's... Let me just show you. In the pot, it's a really bright orange, and I was kind of worried that that was what I'd wind up with, but it's a lot more subtle. on the finished model. I mean, I'm always a bit sceptical of these technical paints and that sort of thing, because I tend to think a lot of the time they're a bit of a rip-off. They're something that you could recreate yourself, you know, with very little work and for a fraction of the price. But no, I am definitely going to use this again in future, I think. Let's see how it looks once I've painted the whole wagon. So I've dry brushed some grey on. To be honest, I'm not entirely happy with the patchiness of it. It looks a bit too random to me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some markings and a touch of weathering, and we'll see if I change my mind. Here's the end result, and in spite of my misgivings, I think this has turned out pretty well. I think the markings and the weathering have kind of tied the whole thing together, so it doesn't look quite as random as before. So, the verdict on Ryza Rust is it's pretty good stuff. I would certainly recommend it for heavy corrosion effects. So yeah, you have the recommendation of a guy on YouTube who doesn't even bother with a script for these things. So, I'll see you next time. Cheerio.